Reports confirm that a 50% tariff imposed by President Donald Trump on Indian goods has officially come into effect. Earlier this month, he added another 25%, citing India's purchase of Russian oil. This isn't just about trade. This is about power. The United States, once India's closest partner in the Indo-Pacific, is now treating New Delhi like a rival. India suddenly finds itself in the same category as Brazil and China, among the nations paying the highest duty rates to Washington. Why? Why is a trusted partner turning hostile? And more importantly, how should India respond? The tariffs are not small. According to trade experts, nearly 55% of India's $87 billion worth of exports to the U.S. could be affected. Clothes, jewelry, carpet, tea, shrimp, furniture, everyday Indian products that fill American homes are now costlier. The U.S. GDP could take a hit of 40 to 50 basis points, economists warn. But it's not just America's growth at risk. For India, the stakes are higher. Analysts project a slowdown in GDP growth of up to 4 percentage points in the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year. Hundreds of thousands of jobs in Indian manufacturing hubs at stake. And yet something strange is happening. Instead of panic, India is pushing back, calmly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi cuts taxes, urges self-reliance, and calls on Indians to buy local. Exporters are told to look towards China, Latin America, Africa, and West Asia. The message is clear. If America slams the door, India will build new doors. But the world is asking, how do you deal with Donald Trump? First, he imposed 25%, then another 10%. Then he called India's economic policies obnoxious. He promised to help Pakistan dig oil, even suggested Pakistan could export oil to India. And then came the shock. Trump posted he doesn't care about the dead economy of India. For many, this looks petty. For India, it's dangerous economics. A former policymaker explains, power is power. Trump sits on the dollar, on the U.S. financial system, on decades of accumulated economic strength. But trust, that takes long to build and can collapse in a moment. If Trump keeps pushing, the United States may pay a long-term price. A price that could push India even closer to China. India now faces a dangerous chessboard. On one side, the United States. On the other, China. Two global giants locked in rivalry. India must not get caught in the crossfire. Reports say Modi's team is calibrating. The strategy? Manage Trump's ego. Build domestic power, protect farmers from U.S. agricultural demands, and quietly explore leverage with China, the very nation that clashed with Indian soldiers in Galwan Valley in 2020. The very rival with whom India shares a 3,488-kilometer tense border. So why is India suddenly softening its tone with Beijing? Just 2 years ago, relations with China were frozen. Border skirmishes, app bans, investment restrictions, anger on the streets. But now, reports reveal a sudden flurry of diplomatic activity. India's National Security Advisor, Defense Minister, Foreign Secretary, and External Affairs Minister all have visited Beijing in the past 6 months. And the biggest headline, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Summit, his first visit since 2018. Why this pivot? For decades, ties have been poisoned by two issues: the disputed borders of Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, and China's ironclad friendship with Pakistan. The two sides fought a war in 1962. Since then, skirmishes, standoffs, and mistrust. In 2020, the Galwan clash killed 20 Indian soldiers. Beijing renamed villages in Arunachal. India banned TikTok. Chinese investments were blocked. It seemed the relationship was broken beyond repair. So what changed? Two words: economics and Trump. First, economics. Despite the tensions, China remains India's largest trading partner. India imports high-tech goods, electronics, solar panels, machinery. Without them, Indian factories struggle. Earlier this year, China restricted exports of rare earths and fertilizers to India. The panic in Indian industry was real. Reports say business leaders pressured the government. We cannot afford a full trade war with China. Second, Trump. With America turning hostile, India cannot rely on Washington's shoulder anymore. Tariffs, insults, open support to Pakistan. For India, this feels like betrayal. Suddenly, keeping a dialogue with China, even a fragile one, looks like a strategic necessity. Diplomatic language has shifted. India no longer demands an immediate status quo ante at the border. Instead, officials speak of a positive trajectory. Reports say New Delhi even stayed silent when China helped Pakistan with military intelligence. Is this weakness or strategy? Some analysts believe India is exploiting cracks in the China-Pakistan partnership. If Trump tilts toward Islamabad, India could drive a wedge between Beijing and its iron brother. Others believe this is pure survival. With the US unreliable and China too big to ignore, India is simply buying time. Because while the world plays geopolitics, something remarkable is happening inside India. A quiet revolution, one that does not depend on Washington or Beijing or Moscow. From the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, from Gujarat to the skies above Mumbai, India is building mega projects, smart cities, bullet trains, a space station. These aren't just constructions on paper. They are the blueprints of a superpower in the making. Take the Zojila Tunnel. Hidden deep in the Himalayas, where winter snow cuts off entire regions for months, India is building a 14-kilometer marvel of engineering. This is no ordinary tunnel. It will connect Srinagar to Leh, ensuring year-round access to Ladakh. For tourists, yes. But more importantly, for soldiers guarding one of the world's most fragile and tense frontiers. In a region where every road can decide the balance of power, the Zojila Tunnel is more than concrete and steel. It is a lifeline of sovereignty. Then look at the Jewar International Airport rising in Uttar Pradesh. Not just another airport, but one of the largest in the world, soon to handle over 100 million passengers every year. Built with cutting-edge design and powered by solar energy, Jewar is not only about moving people, it's about moving ambitions. For decades, Indian cities lagged behind global hubs like Dubai or Singapore. But Jewar signals a new era, where India no longer just travels the world, but becomes the gateway of the world. And then there is Gift City in Gujarat, a district where skyscrapers house global banks, where fintech startups rub shoulders with billion-dollar hedge funds, where regulations match Singapore and Hong Kong, but on Indian soil. This is not just urban development. It is India quietly saying, the next Wall Street is ours. But India's vision doesn't stop at the land or the skies. It stretches into space. By 2035, ISRO is preparing to launch India's own space station. Not just satellites or missions to the Moon and Mars, an entire orbital home designed and built by Indian scientists. For a country once dismissed as developing, the idea of a space station is more than ambition. It's a declaration. India belongs among the stars. Each of these projects carries its own story, but together they form a single message. No tariff, no sanction, no rivalry can stop India's rise. The world can impose taxes, question alliances, or challenge policies, but the foundations of the future are being poured in concrete, carved into mountains, lit up with solar panels, and launched beyond Earth's atmosphere. Tariffs may hurt trade, diplomacy may look uncertain, mega projects may still be under construction, but beneath all the noise, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. India is rising. It is building tunnels that cut through mountains, airports that rival the world's biggest, cities designed for the future, and even a space station that will orbit above the Earth. It is refusing to bow to pressure, whether from Washington or Beijing. And yet, ask yourself this. If any other nation achieved all this, the world would already call it a superpower. So why is India treated differently? Why is its rise still questioned, still doubted, still delayed in recognition? Maybe the answer isn't about India at all. Maybe it's about a world that isn't ready to accept a new giant at the table. The question now is, when India finally claims that seat, will the world embrace it or resist it?